Thank you for joining us this morning. If we haven't met, my name is Kristen Lilly. I'm the Executive Director of Medicines for Humanity, and we're really excited to have everybody here this morning. We are doing this series called Conversation with Coordinators to show people a little bit more about what happens in our countries and where our programs are happening. We know it's difficult to jump on a plane and go over and actually see some of the projects in person. And so this gives us a little chance to meet our coordinators, hear more directly about what's happening in the programs, and give you a little look into how things function on a daily basis. So thank you for joining us. We're also excited to have Olivia Morfo on the call. She is our country coordinator in Cameroon. And we also have Dusan Saint Jean, who's our country coordinator in Haiti. So we're going to have everybody muted for now. We're going to go through a conversation with both of these coordinators. And then at the end, we'll have some time for questions. So feel free to either put them in the chat, or at the end, you can go off mute and ask your question. So as we jump in, we're going to start with Olivia. And Olivia, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to work at Medicines for Humanity?
Thank you very much, and hello everyone. My name is Olivia Achamufo. I am a Cameroonian and I live in Cameroon. I have a son, and I started my education in Cameroon, went to Nigeria, then went to the UK to do a master's in public health. And then I came back to Cameroon, worked for a non-governmental organization, a local one. I was their public health officer for about 2 years. Then the job, I could no more work with them due to certain issues. So I met with Kenneth and I told him, he said, oh, come and see how you can work with Medicines for Humanity. Then I worked for about a year. Then the contract was extended. I was still working as a project manager as of then. Then in 2015, so I started working with Medicines for Humanity in 2013, 2 years. Then 2015, I was made the country coordinator up till now. It has been a wonderful journey, a good journey, and I can say this is what I love doing, working with Medicines for Humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Thanks for sharing. Dusa, how about you? We'd love to hear a little bit about your background and what inspired you to work with communities in Haiti.
Hi, everyone. I am Dusan Saint Jean. I'm from Haiti and live in Haiti. I am a father of 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. And I've been working with Medicines for Humanity for 12 years. After my high school studies, I was awarded a scholarship to go to University of Kentucky to study for 2 years. Then since then, I came back home to work and to put my knowledge to serve my community. What inspired me to dedicate my career to serving my community in Haiti, I have to go back to my early childhood to explain that to you. As a child, growing up in a family of 4 children, I was not, unfortunately, as fortunate as my 3 other sisters. I was often ill and sometimes seriously ill. And just because of that, someone had always to take care of me. Oftenly, my mother, my father, my sisters, even other extended family members, all at one point had to take care of me. And then when my parents took me to the Daughter of Charities clinic, I was often served by nurses, doctors, and the Catholic sisters themselves. So I grew up with that feeling inside of me, with that dream inside of me to be able one day to serve others, to serve my community. It's for me a way to pay back for what at one point in my life others had done for me. Now, with 12 wonderful years already with Medicines for Humanity, I am accomplishing my dream by dedicating my career to serving my community.
Great. Thank you, Dusan. Olivia, let's turn to the communities where we work. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the communities that you serve and what it's like in a daily life for those families?
Okay, the communities in which we work principally in 16 communities in Cameroon. We have 12 of them in the northwest region of Cameroon and 4 of them in the southwest region. This is typically the English-speaking region of Cameroon. Cameroon has 2 official languages, the French and the English. So these 2 regions, northwest and southwest regions, are the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. So that's where Medicines for Humanity work. And in these 2 regions, we work mostly with internally displaced people. We work with widows. We work with host communities as well. And these 2 regions, there has been a war going on, or crisis that has been going on since 2017. And these 2 regions, that's where we have people who have lost a lot of people. This war has brought a lot of hardship on people. It has brought a lot of losses to so many people. People have lost their houses. People have lost their homes. People have lost relatives, husbands, wives, children have been lost due to the war. So the communities in which we work are mostly people suffering a lot due to displacement, due to maybe a wife has lost the husband and some children. So the wife is running away with children, mothers who have lost a lot of, mothers who have lost their children, their husband. And there's a lot of suffering, especially if you are displaced from your home, especially if you are moved away from your family, especially if you're moved away from your community. So most of these people that we work with are actually people who have been displaced, even though we have host community, because before the crisis or before the war in the Northwest and Southwest, we were actually working in communities where the people were residing in their own community. So it was a little bit easier. But this time you go to the same communities, you have a variety of people. You have people who have lost their parents, you people who have moved from different communities to come and settle in a place that is a little bit more settled. So, and in such communities, you have various types of sicknesses, preventable diseases, like malaria, like pneumonia, like diarrhea. Malnutrition is so prominent because people have moved, they don't have what to eat, their farming has been affected, and they don't have what they are doing. They are just internally displaced and staying in a place where they cannot do their farming, they cannot do their business. So these are communities that we work with. But I can say the crisis has reduced a bit and people are returning to their homes. And then they are starting a little bit of farming or doing some sort of business to support their families. So this is the type of communities that we are working with in the Northwest and the Southwest region of Cameroon.
Thank you. So lots of navigating of different situations and challenges, recovering from violence. Dusa, in Haiti, there's similar challenges with violence and insecurity. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what daily life is like for the families in the communities where you work?
Yes, Haiti has faced incredible challenges over the past few years. And in my opinion, it is probably the worst period since this nation was born in 1804. And to explain to you what daily life looks like for the Haitian families we serve, I should consider it in two angles. First, we have the families living in area controlled by gangs. So families in those areas are living in constant fears. Although they try to do their daily activities with extreme precautions, but particularly when it comes to say something related to the gangs, they are very, very, they are very, very, they use very extreme precautions because they never know who is around watching and listening to them. The gangs in area they control, they are the ones who rules everything. They are the ones who make the ruling. For example, they are the ones who impose taxes on formal and informal businesses. They arrest people. They put people in jail that they built in their own. And sometimes they, depending on the case, they can whip people. And unfortunately, they can even kill people because they are the one who represent the state in the area they control. So because of that fear, a lot of people try to take the daily life here in the areas the gangs control day by day. They do not talk to people they don't really know, and they do not, they try to stay home as much as possible, or if they have to go out and to do some activities, they try not to stay very late at night because you never know when a violence will erupt between the gangs or between the local authorities with the gangs. So in such areas, it is very important to control at all times what you're saying, and particularly when you are in public. On the other hand, we have families living in areas not controlled by gangs. The majority of the West Department is under gangs control. But we have 7 others department where there is no presence of gangs. So in those departments, families are free to go. Things are different. They're free to go out for recreational activities also. But in those areas where there is no threat of gangs, the inflation is higher there. The inflation is higher. And the reason the inflation is higher is that the gangs control the major roads that connects Port-au-Prince to the other departments. So they impose toll fees extremely high, at high cost, for any transportation to pass. Any goods coming from Port-au-Prince to the other cities, they impose very, very high toll fees. And as a result, the families are paying the price. For instance, a small bag from where I live, that is under gangs control, a small bags of rice of a bag of 12.5 kilogram, costs about $13.50. But in the areas where the gangs are not in control, but because of the toll fees, the same bag of rice costs as much as $27. So it's like more than double. So that is the reality of daily lives that the family are facing here. For some, it's the fears. And for some, it is less the fear, but the inflation, the high cost of everything.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. So, two countries where conflict and insecurity has affected different parts of the country very differently. Olivia, how then can you explain a little bit more about how Medicines for Humanity works in these communities and how we partner with different communities and sisters?
Okay. Medicines for Humanity works we partner with health facilities in these 16 communities. We also work with community health workers. That is one of our strongest points. Working with community health workers who link the community with the health facility. In each community where we work, we have community health workers, a group of community health workers, 20 of them per site. And these community health workers are the main people who go into the various communities to educate the population. Sometimes they go to deserted areas. Sometimes they go to areas where they don't even have a health facility. So the community health workers go into these places. Sometimes they go through rivers, sometimes they go through forests, they go on foot to these communities just to go and educate the population that is there. And these are the same people who break through to communities where they don't even want to visit the health facility. So they help them, educate them on the need to visit the health facility. Sometimes they are the people who go into these communities and carry out vaccination, because some of them, they give birth to their children and they have never even been vaccinated. You ask them, they say, no, I've never vaccinated my child. I don't see the need for the vaccination. So these community health workers go into these communities and educate them, and sometimes do the vaccination by themselves, like giving polio vaccines and giving other vaccines to the community members. Another way, they also help when the health facility staff, they are going out for maybe for outreach. They are the ones that also accompany them into these communities and help them bring out the members of the community so that they are taken care of by the health workers. Sometimes it's a matter of them just talking to somebody who has been so resistant to medicine. They are so used to their traditional medicine that they don't even want to hear anything about any form of medication. So it just takes a community health worker to convince somebody in their community, maybe speaking in their dialect, telling them the need to visit the health facility, and then they will change their mind and then start seeing the importance of a health facility. Sometimes it's even mothers who are so used to delivering at home. They will tell you, oh, my grandmother delivered at home, my mother delivered at home, and I have delivered my last 3 children at home. So there is no need for me for a health facility, to go to the health facility. You know, the community health worker educates them, tell them the importance of a health facility or visiting a health facility, taking ANC, and then they start going to the health facility, see the importance of it, and then they will tell you, oh, I didn't know that this is how the health facility works, and they are so happy. And, you know, sometimes the death rate of children in that community is so drops because of the fact that these mothers come now to deliver in at the health facility. I just want to talk about the community health workers in the fact that they are such a bond, and our model of community health worker is so unique to Medicines for Humanity compared to others that we are working with in Cameroon. Because when we go for meetings, they are asking us, how do we retain our community health workers? How is it that we always have our community health workers on the field? Because with the government-run model of community health workers, when you stop paying community health workers, they stop working. Meanwhile, with the model for Medicines for Humanity, we have the income strengthening activity that keeps them together. Some of them have 1, 2, 3 different income strengthening activities that they do, they carry out, and then they have a little bit of money from there, apart from the stipend that is being given to them by Medicines for Humanity. It's such a different model of compensating community health workers that I wish other people will copy, because it keeps our community health workers. The retention rate is so high that when they have made a lot of money, no community health worker will want to drop from the group, because they will lose out from the money that is coming out from the various activities that they are doing. So our community health workers are well known, and they are very happy with what they do. When you go to their community health workers, or when I have meetings with them, they say, oh, we are so happy with what you do, what we do. We are so happy that Medicines for Humanity is taking care of us, and we will not leave. We will always be working, even if Medicines for Humanity is not supporting us, because we already have something that we are doing that can support us, so that we can continue to be community health workers.
Yeah, thank you. So these economic strengthening activities you talk about that support the community health workers and provide a service to the community. Can you give me a couple examples of what those include?
Okay, we have some people are into farming, different types of crops. Some people are into palm oil. They buy palm oil when it is cheap, they store it, and then when it becomes expensive, they resell it and get some gain from there. So people have gone into farming of cocoa and coffee. They buy and then keep. When it is expensive, they sell. Some people are into things like maize. Others are into peanuts, granules. Other people are into rearing cattle, goats. Some are keeping chicken. And then when they see that something is not, the people who rear chicken, they rear it during the season when most people will consume it, like going towards the Christmas time, going towards the Easter period. Most people, they prefer to rear chicken. Then during the season where it is not very high season, they go into other things like going into farming. There are other people who rear pigs. There are other people who rear goats. And I want to say that our income strengthening activity, there are communities where we have exited from there. But because of the income strengthening activity, the community health workers are still sending their reports, despite the fact that Medicines for Humanity is no more supporting them. But they continue to send in their reports, continue to carry out home visits, and send in their reports for, to show that they are still working. So it is really a good model to compensate community health workers.
Yeah, wonderful. So great sustainability and way to keep people involved and continue working with the communities where they live. Olivia, can you share what are one of your greatest accomplishments over the last year that you've seen in the project?
There are so many accomplishments, but let me share this accomplishment with you people about the water tanks that Medicines for Humanity donated to some communities. But I will choose to share the one of a community called Vem. They are in Nkumbu area. This community, when the water tank arrived their village, the whole village came out to welcome the tank. And they were so happy, singing and shouting and welcoming a tank into their village. When the tank finally arrived, they decided the whole community was going to dig the trenches. Women, you could see women carrying stones. You could see boys digging so that they will put the pipes inside. They will put the pipes and then connect the water. Everybody in that community came out to do one thing or the other. Old women coming out to carry stones and climb a hill just to show their own participation, show their happiness of having a tank. And this tank, it was some sort of a relief to the whole community. Even though Medicines for Humanity donated a tank to a smaller community, the whole village benefited from there. Why? Because when this small village that Medicines for Humanity donated a tank to, when they connected the water into that tank, the main tank now had enough water to be connected to the rest of the village. And people were asking, why do we have so much water? I said, no, this other community has been moved away from the main tank, so they now have their water source, and then the rest of the village could have water. So, and they say in their village now, children don't more suffer from diarrhea, children don't more suffer from any waterborne diseases, because they now have water in their community. And people don't have to go so far to go and fetch water. Women used to come back from the farm, then before they go and fetch water, but it is no more the case. They just come and they fetch water within their community, and they are so happy. They are still very happy, and they send an appreciation letter to Medicines for Humanity, say, thank you very much, because you don't know what you did to this community. You have saved us from going to fetch water far. You have saved us from so many diseases, and we are grateful. So that's one of the best accomplishments of Medicines for Humanity in a community called Vim.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. You can hear the pride and the joy in your voice and the connection to the community. So thanks for sharing, Olivia.
Thank you.
Dusa, Olivia shared a little bit about how MFH works with communities. How about in Haiti? Can you give us some context and how Medicines for Humanity works with partners to continue providing healthcare in some of these communities that are both gang run and outside of the city?
Yes. Despite the challenges, our partners continue providing healthcare because they stick to their commitment to serving the most vulnerable ones here in Haiti. We currently have 11 project sites throughout the country, but only 4 of them are in the West Department, which means in the areas controlled by gangs. The good thing is that our in-country partners, they are close to the community. So our in-country partners clinic are within the community. So the community don't have to walk or to take long ride to access the clinic. So the clinic is just what there. So even during extreme gangs violence, because of their safety, our partners, they stop if the gangs violence is extreme and too dangerous. They stop working so that people can stay home and wait until everything is calmed down and they reopen. So we have committed and dedicated partners, and they could have chosen to leave those areas. But if they leave, what about the people that they are serving? The people they are serving will still be there. So that's why they are sticking with their commitments, their mission and vision, which is our vision and mission. So in the community controlled by gangs, even with sometimes a pause on the service, but our program continue to run because we have those incredible in-country partners willing to help us to deliver on the ground, even during the most difficult time. For the other 7 project sites in area where there is no presence of gangs, we have field coordinators that can help our partners to implement our program. We have community health workers that connect the people from their community to the clinics. So the community health workers, they conduct home visits, they do very basic health education. Since they are at the community, they from the community, the community knows them. So when they go to a household and if they find a case where that person need to go to the clinic, and because they are so familiar with the community that they serve, so most of the time they listen. And that's why we are able to, even in difficult times, continue to give our service. Our programs are well designed so we can overcome multiple challenges we are facing here. For the site from Port-au-Prince, we do face some challenge with transportation. Sometimes there are some delay on transportation, and also sometimes the price are very high to send particularly pumpkin nuts to those sites. But we are still continue serving, and our partners are still able to deliver.
Yeah, thank you. So similar to what Olivia said, we have healthcare partners that we work with and strengthen their health services. You mentioned Plumpy Nut, which is a nutritional supplement to help treat malnutrition, and community health workers, like you mentioned, community health workers connect families in their own communities to services, but also provide that one-on-one peer education to help improve their health. So those are all really important. Thank you for sharing. Dusan, when you think about the last year, what is one of the biggest accomplishments that you see in the project?
In fact, my biggest accomplishment is just happened 3 days ago. We are able to open a maternity room in the Grand Boulage community. So this community has been hoping for that for years because there is no presence of delivery room in the area of more than 1,900 households. So most of the time, the community are forced to deliver at home, the pregnant women. So with a team effort of 3 organizations, we just opened a maternity room where the pregnant mothers from the Grand Boulage community, even from the community around Grand Boulage, can come to safely deliver their babies, uncomplicated delivery. And those 3 organizations play their roles. Like we have produced good food, we construct the building, the facility, with some help of the organization of the local organization, like the people from the community. And we have Seed of Hope for Haiti, who is our sponsor that provide the finance to equip the maternity, to get the supplies, the materials, and to be ready to pay the staff. And us, Medicine for Humanity, we are playing our role. This is the only site where we don't have in-country partner. This is the only site we, as an organization, we run directly. So we recruit staffs, we get the materials, we get the supplies, and the maternity room is open since Saturday. So that is by far my biggest accomplishment this year.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited for that room, and what a beautiful partnership between the community and other organizations to provide such a necessary service and ensure that moms and babies have a safe place to be born. So we're excited for that. Thanks for sharing, Dusan. Olivia, I'm going to turn it back to you. Why don't you share with us, is there a story or person that has stuck with you and reminds you of why our work matters?
I want to share two very quick stories with you. Just last month, there's this lady in Manfi, that's the southwest region of Cameroon. She went to the hospital, and when the staff saw her, she went to deliver, and she didn't have anything that she could use as a pregnant woman. No clothes for the baby, nothing, not even a delivery kit. When they asked her, she said her husband was killed, she is a widow, and she has another child at home. So when I was called, I said, she's an internally displaced person. Well, you could help her. So through Medicines for Humanity, they bought some clothes for the child, they delivered the woman safely, and then gave her a little bit of money to go and start a small business. And she has started the business and it is going well. That was in May, okay, in May. And for some reason, when she started a business, she moved from her house where she was, first of all, running the business. Right now, within a few months, she's now renting a place where she is sewing clothes. And the business is flourishing. The child is doing so well. And when I spoke to her, she was so happy to hear a staff from Medicines for Humanity. She just said, thank you so much. You saved my child. You saved me. You have saved my home. Now schools are going to start. My children will be able to go to school. The same thing happened to a lady in Boya, still the Southwest region, where she went to the hospital. She got there. She was raped. And when she got to the hospital, she was pregnant. And then they discovered she was HIV positive. She almost committed suicide. She said, I don't even have a husband. I was raped. Now I am pregnant. What am I going to do? So Medicines for Humanity got together, asked for her to be treated. She was delivered safely. They also gave her some money to start a business. She started that business just in front of her house, just selling small, petite business. And this is about 8 months now. Now she is able to buy and then supply to other people. Her child is doing well. Her child is HIV negative. She herself is taking her medication and she's doing very, very well. She's very healthy. And she says, I want to thank Medicines for Humanity for saving my life, for giving me a baby. Even though she said, oh, I don't know the father of this baby, but I have a baby whom I will take care of. And I will always remember Medicines for Humanity because it's a gift. And I really, really do appreciate it. So these are the stories. These are recent ones. Otherwise, there are so many other stories that we could share here. But these are the two that have really touched me within this short space of time.
Thank you. What good stories of support and life-giving services. Dusa, how about you? Is there a story that is stuck in your mind and that reminds you of why we do this work?
Sure. In fact, there are many stories that are the outcomes of positive impact of our work here in Haiti. And one of them that I will never forget happened just about 2 months ago. I was visiting a project site in the south, and when suddenly a couple with two beautiful twin girls, 2 years of age, showed up and started expressing their gratitude toward me. And I was like, what? Why are you taking me for what? And they say with tearful eyes, these twin girls that you are looking, that was their words. These twin girls that you are looking now were malnourished and very malnourished with other illness. And they say the twin girls were so critical that they had started to lose faith. When community workers came to their home and referred them to this clinic I was visiting, and the twin girls were able to recover in about 3 months from their malnutrition. And they added, they were waiting for this moment to take me, because Sister Leah, who is the clinic director, told them that anytime someone from MFH was coming to visit, she will alert them so that they express their gratitude. So I was so impressed, not only because of the twin girls that I was seeing and happy to see, but the way they show that gratitude, and I didn't even expect that. And when I asked Sister Leah, did you set that up? And she said, no. Like they just said, they told me, Sister Leah said, whenever someone from MFH is coming, let us know we have something to say because we are grateful. So after listening to Sister Leah, and after seeing all the joys, tearful joys that were coming from the the smiles, their face, their happiness, and I was also happy. And I get to them, I hug them, even though I was speechless for a while, but I hug them and tell them that I will certainly express this gratitude to the other member of the team because I'm not the only one from that team. So right now, I have this opportunity to share that story, that success story, to share their gratitude also to you who are being with me today on this call.
Yeah, thank you. What a good reminder of the connection between community health workers, the referral system, and the treatment available at the clinic to be able to treat these girls for malnutrition and their other illnesses. As we wrap up before we go into any questions, Olivia, there are so many people on this call that have either supported Medicines for Humanity from the beginning since the organization started, or those who have just recently gotten to know us and are starting to help in one way or another. What is something that you would like them to know as we wrap up?
I'd like you to know that, your support has gone a long way to save lives. Your support has gone a long way to take people out of poverty. Your support has made it in such a way that some malnourished children are fed. Pregnant women who could not even dream of visiting a health facility are able to go to the health facility and be delivered by a skilled birth attendant because Medicines for Humanity trained some skilled birth attendants. Your support has gone a long way to change the way communities live. Imagine the various communities in which we have donated tanks and water is now flowing in their community. Imagine the diseases that you have prevented. So your money has gone a long way to save so many people. Imagine when we're supporting people who have been injured because of this crisis, people who have injuries. Some of them go to the hospital, they don't even have any money to go with. Medicines for Humanity came in and supported them. They are living well now. Imagine families that have been displaced. They go to a community where they don't have anybody, they don't have anywhere to go. With Medicines for Humanity gives them a small amount of money and they are now thriving. The stories that I got, because I was gathering information about the various people we have supported, so many of them are doing so well that they don't even want to leave from where they are because they are IDPs. They have established themselves in one business or the other because Medicines for Humanity came and supported them with a little bit of money, and they are able to cater for their family. They are able to rent a house. They are able to send their children to school, and they are able to care for themselves. So just to tell you that Medicines for Humanity is doing a lot to make you know how we are doing so much. When we go for meetings, they're asking me, oh, how much do you give to the communities? Sometimes I tell them the amount and then they see how much or what we are doing, they are surprised. Because yes, you can give when the money goes directly to the people and they use it directly in their community. So it is seen, no matter how small that amount of money is, it is used and you can see the impact on the various communities. So just to let you know, it is so impactful. The people are always so grateful. They are always so thankful that Message for Humanity has changed our lives. Message for Humanity has changed our community. Message for Humanity has changed our hospital. You know, in different forms, the money goes a long way to change lives, change communities, change people, change a whole lot in the various communities in which we are working. So they always say, thank you so much. Extend our thanks to everybody who is supporting Message for Humanity. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Dusan, how about you? What's the last thing you would like to leave with everyone here?
I would like to say to the generous supporters on this call, I would like to, on behalf of the community that we serve as an organization, I would like to thank them for their support. Your support makes the treatment of malnourished children under 5 possible on the ground here. Your support makes it possible that mothers and children to no longer die from preventable diseases, and vulnerable population of all ages get access to affordable essential healthcare services because of your support. Today, or as I speaking now, your support makes 11 clinics through 11 sites to continue functioning. It means children from 11 communities are recovering from malnutrition. And vulnerable people are being served for their illness that without your support, the clinic will be closed and they will have died from preventable illnesses. So because of that, we thank you so much. And what I just said are not fiction. They are just facts. And I witnessed some of them. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Olivia, and thank you, Dusan, for sharing just a little bit about what happens in each of your countries, the work that you two do with our communities and partners to serve families and children and make these things happen. So thank you for sharing. I want to turn over now. If anyone has questions, I want to open it up. You're welcome to unmute if you would like and ask a question. You can share it in the chat if you don't feel comfortable, and I'll read it. But if you have any questions for Dusa or Olivia or the work MFH does in general, we'd be happy to answer them.
Dusan, Dave Sauer here, board
Hi,
member.
Dave.
Obviously, we hear the passion in your voice. We hear the passion in Olivia's voice as well. I do have a question, though. Recently, the U.S. government apparently has stopped the protective status for Haitians that have emigrated to the United States. Do you know whether or not and whether or not that's going to have an impact, or in fact that they're going to be repatriated back to Haiti? Have you heard anything locally?
Yes. Unfortunately, this will have some negative impact here. We do need our people outside to come to help this country. But at this present moment, I don't think we are ready yet to receive them. We have many areas where there is no presence of the government. And some of these people on their TPS, they've been in the US for years. There are some reality they don't know here. And some of them didn't even have a place to come because they were afraid to send money home to build a place. and we don't have a government ready to get them to provide them assistance. So I can imagine how hard not only it is for these people, but for people that they were supporting here. Every single Asian family who has someone in the US benefit from that person in the US. Because we are talking here a lot of families in extreme poverty. And then I have my own cousin on the TPS status. And then he told me the other day, so cousin, if they take me and send me back home, I do not know how I will survive, because I'm not ready to go back to the gang ravaged area. And that's the reason I was hoping to leave this country. So there are a lot of examples I will take to say that it will negatively impact some impact here. Well,
Okay,
since
yeah.
we don't control that, I just hope that something will do on their favor. Otherwise, it is what it is. They will have to come and face the reality.
Yeah. Okay. Not helpful.
No.
And I
Thank
have a
you.
question that I'd love to share.
Yeah, Raj.
First of all, Olivia and Dassault, thank you so much for your very, very important and impactful work. And thanks, Kristen and Victoria, as well, for including us in the conversation. My name's Raj Narayan. I work over at NC State University here in Raleigh, North Carolina, with an organization called the Keenan Institute for Engineering, Technology, and Science. And we work with our social innovation and entrepreneurship program. And Victoria is a graduate of our entrepreneurship programs at NC State, and Medicines for Humanity has been a partner with us. And I see some of our teammates, Ovni and Tegan, who've been participants and leaders in that program. My question for you, and listening to the great work that you've been leading, is I see that there's intersection between entrepreneurship and social impact, and your leadership in addressing some of these enduring challenges. Can you tell me a little bit more about how do you go about empowering or enabling that entrepreneurial knowledge and learning, the ability to, for example, a lot of people within your community are leading new initiatives in farming and agriculture. Oftentimes that's being led by women. Women play a very, very important role in entrepreneurship and impact. Can you tell us a little bit about what does that look like? What's in place in the context of your work with Medicines for Humanity that empowers that ability, that self-reliance, that entrepreneurial orientation towards addressing some of these issues?
Let me start, and then Olivia, maybe I'll let you add some if you'd like after. As a whole, Olivia had mentioned that a lot about economic strengthening activities, both in a farming capacity and in other types of small businesses for community health workers. We're using that model also in Haiti with sisters and community health workers who run these clinics to help develop systems that can support their facility without as much external support, given things Dave said and with the USAID changes and in general funding changes. We are not experts in economic strengthening or entrepreneurship. And so in all cases, just like we partner with different healthcare providers, we're working to partner with different organizations that work in these contexts, universities. In Zambia, we work with the University of Zambia. There is a business that Olivia works with to make sure that the context of what we're providing for these small businesses is more tailored to their community. So it's an area that we're expanding on and we're looking to, and I know Raj, through our partnership, those are areas we're looking to develop more. But we, at the base of it all, is trying to find out what works best in the communities that they serve, what works for those participants, and what their community needs. So taking them through those market assessments, seeing what would work in their community. And Kenneth is on the call as well. He's our program director for Africa, has worked closely with Olivia to see maybe the group tried something, then they need to shift and try something different. So we're in the process of working how that fits best in all of the contexts, but working closely with partners in those specific areas to develop that. Olivia, do you want to talk a little bit more maybe about shortly about the business training with some of those groups?
Yes. I would say that, in all of our 16 communities, what they do is they are the people who choose their businesses. And at a certain point, Medicines for Humanity hired an organization that is into economic strengthening activity, pair. And they will move from one site to the other because every site is specific. They will go to one side and then train them on how to get more money from their income strengthening activity. So they went through all these sites. Unfortunately, before they could finish going to the second time, the crisis started, so they could not travel to the other sites. But their main aim was to go and teach the community health workers how to make more money from what they were already doing. And if possible, maybe shift or change what they were doing if it is not working very well. And then they had to do some sort of a market survey because what works in one community might not work in the other. And so they will always advise them, see, it's good that during this period, it's better to maybe cultivate certain types of crops or maybe buy because it is cheap in this season and then you stock it. Then when it is expensive, you sell it. Or maybe when it's towards Christmas, maybe you raise something like chicken or goats. So they train them so well in those areas, depending on what you are doing. And during that season, we had such a success, only that the crisis came and then everything went down. But I am so happy that some people asked.
Thank you for sharing. I just was going to add, I'm going to put in the chat. Whoops, I don't know if I just sent it or not.
Them again to go back and retrain them.
Her connection. Hold on one second, Olivia. Go ahead, Raj.
No problem. I was just going to say I really appreciate that perspective, that feedback, and Chris and Victoria, I think that presents a really fantastic opportunity for continued collaboration. I know that Matt and Jose Cisneros and I are meeting next week, I think, to chat a little bit about that. I put a link in the chat that I thought might be of interest. About 20 years ago, we started an organization here called the Institute for Emerging Issues that was led by Governor Hunt, who passed away. He was the governor of North Carolina for many, many years. And there was a gentleman we had invited back in 2002, I think, named Ernesto Ciroli, and he did a lot of work in entrepreneurship in local communities. And I don't know if he's still out there, but the focus was on Zambia in particular. And it was very, very interesting. I'm from Zambia myself. I was born and raised there, so I have a strong affinity and connection with Zambia. But I put that in the chat, and I think that could be a very interesting resource to keep in mind. I've got a copy. I'll see if I can get some more for us. And then maybe that's something we can put a lens on in the context of our work together and see where the intersections are, because I think it would be tremendously beneficial to our students, to the communities more broadly. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other, as we wrap up the last couple minutes, any other questions? All right.
That's not a question, just a comment again. I just want to let you know that this kind of
sorry, I was kicked out. I don't know. So sorry. I was kicked out.
It's okay, Olivia. Go ahead, Dave.
It's really the inspiration once again for all of us. It should be that the work that you're doing, both at Olivia in Cameroon and other programs, and certainly in Haiti. Difficult work, but very inspiring for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you to each of you again for joining us. As it was mentioned in the chat, thank you, David, for reminding us. We will send this recording out to everyone who registered, and we are happy to connect in any other way to discuss further. I want to thank each of you again for participating today. Thank you, Dusa and Olivia, for sharing, and like Dave said, giving a little bit of that context of what these communities are like and what types of programs we're doing. Thank you to each of you for your support in any way possible. I think Olivia hit it on the head when she said, even this, either Olivia or Dusan, sorry, the smallest dollar goes a long way and directly to communities that are taking it and being able to survive and thrive in the context where they live. So thank you each for joining us. We couldn't do this without you, and we appreciate the partnership here on this, with each of you on this call and with our partners in country. So we hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a future conversation. Have a great one.